Hey everybody, DeLong's Chat Signatures here. This is episode 21 of my 2025 TTM returns, and we are ending the week with 12 TTM successes. We're going to start off with a football return. This guy won a college award for that project I've been working on. This is a 2 of 2 success coming back in 10 days from former John Mackey award winner and NFL tight end Matt Spaeth. Spaeth was drafted by the Steelers and had a fairly long career, but never really put up any noticeable receiving numbers. So probably mostly just a blocking guy, but was a pretty dang good college tight end, and was able to last, I think, about 10 years in the NFL. Had a couple stints with the Steelers, some time with the Bears. I think he ended his career maybe with the Colts. So very cool to get that one back. Then we have a college baseball coaching return who signed 2 of 2 in 15 days. He's the head coach. I could be wrong about this. I want to say UC Santa Barbara. Jordan Banfield. He's the former coach of Oakland University, which I had seen someone else get him back from there. And then he was hired to his new position for this season, so I sent to that team and very quickly got those back signed. Then we have a hockey return on the Toronto Maple Leaf Centennial Upper Deck set. This is a 1 of 1 return coming back in 22 days from former NHL. He played both defense and left wing Bob Neely. Not sure if he has any relation to Cam Neely. Not a super long career, but like I said, he played both forward and defense a couple times throughout his career. I think he started off defense, played forward for a while, and then kind of flip-flopped the positions towards the end of his career. So, nice new name to add to the collection. Next one's a really surprising return. I wrote to a former IndyCar driver, and I got back a little kind of just handwritten greeting card. And as soon as I saw that it was from the wife and everything, I knew that the driver must have passed. And so that's exactly what it says here. I don't know if this is from his wife, or it's just from some family member, but it says, "Dear Landon, with a heavy heart, I have to return these photos unsigned. Rocky passed away in September 2024. Rocky Moran, by the way. He would have been honored to sign them for you. Rocky loved Indian auto racing. Sincerely, Ray Moran." Not sure if that's, maybe his wife goes by Ray. Maybe he's got a son. I know he's got a son who also went by Rocky. Rocky Jr. So I was like, oh, well, that sucks. But at least they were kind enough to send my photos back, and, to share the news. I'm sure I had already seen something about him passing away, but I probably forgot that I ever even sent out to him. But strangely, my photos came back, and they're signed, just not to me. So this is a 2 of 2 success. And from, what I can find online, there's not very many autographs of him. These look to be legit. Of Rocky Moran. But for some reason, they're signed to Alfred. So I think I had seen someone else write to him as well on Star Tiger. So maybe the personalizations got mixed up or something. I'm not sure if they ever got their items back either. But those look to be signed, and he passed away in September of last year. So I'm not sure if, they just wrote the same note for everyone and then sent those out. Because those are my photos. Like, they're from Snapfish, and I looked up the photos that I got printed, and it's these 2 images. But the signatures look good, and they're just, personalized to the wrong person. But I got back 2 of 2 in 450 days. 7 months after he passed? I had seen something similar with Paul Hornung. He was a really, really good TTM signer, and a bunch of people had written to him. He had passed away, and so everyone was like, okay, well, I'll just have to call my request a failure because he obviously didn't get to them. But then the family went through Paul's stuff and found several returns that he never mailed back out. So they got those back out in the mail. Some of them had gotten water damaged. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But people were getting stuff several months or almost even a year after Paul had died. So I'm pretty sure these are legit. You guys can let me know what you think if you have like a good comparison. Older signatures don't really seem to match, but there were several signatures on eBay that looked just like this. So I don't know, maybe his signature changed over time. But rest in peace to Rocky, of course. Always sucks to lose a member of any community, racing, sports, celeb, or just even your local community and whatnot. But very, very surprised to get those back. So hard to transition out of that one. But the next one we've got is another football return. This is just for my defensive collection. I don't think he won any college awards. I could be wrong. This is a 2 of 2 success coming back in 10 days from Paul Guidry, who is there on the left, former NFL linebacker. And there he is tackling, I would guess Roman Gabriel, but I could be wrong. But cool return there. Then we have a former NFL tight end / fullback who signed 1 of 1 in 291 days. This is coming back from Jim Kleinsasser. Spent his entire career with the Minnesota Vikings. Started off as a fullback, and then they started lining him up at tight end. Realized he was a really versatile player, and they bounced him around between the two positions, a bit like Bob Neely, like I was talking about with the forward and defense. They bounced him around as a fullback and a tight end, which those have become very, very similar roles, even though fullback is not as common anymore. But at the time, you could definitely do that in that era of football. He is I don't know if he ended up getting voted in, but he was a nominee for the College Football Hall of Fame after his career at North Dakota State, I believe is where he went. Yes, North Dakota. I don't know if it's North Dakota State or North Dakota. But either way, very cool to get that return. This next one took quite some time. In fact, it took so long that it wasn't even on my current collecting spreadsheet that I have. I had to use Star Tiger to get when I sent this out. His former quarterback signed 2 of 3 in 1,500 days. These are coming back from Steve DeBerg. Thankfully, both of these cards are ones that I did not already have signed in the collection. So I'll have to figure out which one I still need. I think there's another scorecard that I have, or maybe I didn't get the Pro Set signed yet. But sent that out quite a while ago, and they're just now coming back. Seen, I think, one other person get DeBerg back as well. So very happy to finally add those to the collection. Then we have a former NHL goaltender, had a really short NHL career, but I heard Steve Dangle mention his name a lot in older videos and stuff, and he still brings him up from time to time when talking about Leafs goaltending prospects and whatnot. But saw that this guy was part of a coaching staff, so I figured I'd send out to him, and I got back 2 of 2 in 70 days from former goaltender Justin Pogge, who played, I think, 7 games with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So another name added to that collection. Then we have a wrestling return. I'm sure this guy is probably credited with some matches, at maybe like 1 or 2. But he was a long time commentator, and he signed 2 of 2 for me in 19 days. This is coming back from longtime ECW commentator Joey Styles, who is known for screeching, "Oh my God," whenever anything crazy happened. And since he commentated for ECW, that was about 2 or 3 times a match. Styles had a long career commentating. I still remember watching him around 2006, 2007, whenever I did get to watch some ECW. And his contract was not renewed by WWE in the late 2000s, but he stayed part of the WWE network and everything, doing a lot of like online stuff and WWE on demand. And then once the WWE network actually came out, they got rid of a bunch of his stuff and he was no longer employed. He went back to sales, advertising sales, I don't know, as his career after leaving professional wrestling. But he still wanted to be involved in the indie circuit, so he was doing, some calls and some house shows and more independent, circuits and everything. Unfortunately, a very inappropriate joke. Not what the joke was, because wrestling has always had like some adult banter to it, but it was towards a female that worked with him on air. Got him fired by several different promotions he was working for, and he has not done any commentating since. But I'll still always remember him just as the ECW guy, and he seems overall like a pretty chill dude. Just made a mistake, made a bad call, trying to be pushing it a little bit like how Jerry Lawler always did, but just went over the line with one of his comments. But still very, very happy to get this return. And then we have a football head coaching return. This is a 2 of 2 success, coming back in 254 days from Division II coach for Emporia State, Garen Higgins. He is one of the more longer tenured Division II coaches at the moment right now. Coached at Northwestern Oklahoma State, I want to say, to start his career. Was very, very successful with them at the NAIA level, constantly making the NAIA championship tournament. And then he got moved up to Division II. I think he's been coaching at Emporia State since like 2007, so almost 20 years. Done pretty well with them too, and they've made, I think, a couple of Division II tournaments. And then I still don't understand how bowl games work, apparently, because he has 4 bowl wins as a Division II coach. So, again, I don't know exactly how they do all of that. But overall, really good career so far. Hopefully he can keep it up. Next return we have is a NWSL return. And I think this is the first card I have signed for the 2024 Parkside set. There is a Volume 2, so there are 335 cards in total. I do not plan on completing this set, but I have a pretty decent chunk of the first volume of cards, so I'm going to try and send as many out as I can to get those signed, and we'll see how many we can get. But this return is a 3 of 3 success in 12 days from Racing Louisville FC player Uchenna Kanu. She plays forward for the team. She is in her 3rd season. She was having a pretty good year last year, had 5 goals on the season, and she was in the running for the Golden Boot Award. Did not end up winning it, but those have been the only 5 goals in her NWSL career. I think she's only played 1 game this season, so not sure what's going on there. But still, someone, another new name to follow in women's soccer. So cool to get that. Last one is a college football award winner, 2-time Pro Bowl, 1-time All-Pro defensive lineman who had a short but pretty stellar NFL career, who later became a country songwriter. This is a 2 of 2 success in 14 days from Outland Trophy winner, Maxwell Trophy winner, and Grammy winner Mike Reed. So Mike Reed is in the College Football Hall of Fame for his career at Penn State University. Won, of course, I said, the Outland Award for lineman and the Maxwell Award, which I think it has something to do with academics. I could be wrong about that. But he was a first-round draft pick into the NFL. And in 5 years, he unofficially recorded 49 sacks. Very, very just, stellar defensive player in such a short amount of time. Unfortunately, injuries started to catch up with him towards the end of his career. So I think he had 7 sacks his last season, which is still pretty good. But he wasn't able to continue after 5 seasons. But he was able to leave after 5 years as the Bengals' unofficial sack leader at the time. He would go on to record, I think, 3 albums and became a songwriter for several other country artists, including Ronnie Millsap. And the song that he helped Ronnie Millsap write, There's a Stranger in My House, ended up winning a Grammy. So that is how he earned that award. He is in the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. So hitting 2 collections with that. I don't really listen to country too much myself. I do know There's a Stranger in My House because we used to play that on the radio at work all the time, and it's kind of crazy to think a football player wrote that. But anyway, that is it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Helps me out a lot. Best luck with your guys' collecting. Take care.